Now we hear from the class of 2023 valedictorian, Preston Ballentine. Preston has attended SDS for 6 years and plans to major in pre-seminary at Martin Luther College. Please come forward to share, Preston.
Fellow students, parents, faculty, and staff of Southside Christian, it's an honor to address you all this evening. Well, congratulations, class of 2023. We made it. Now, when you think back on our years of high school, it becomes quickly apparent that we didn't have what you would call an average experience. If we go back to the dinosaur ages of 2019 when we started high school, things seemed normal, but then everything quickly changed when we were sent home to do virtual school because of COVID. Thankfully, though, we were back quickly as sophomores, but with masks on in the midst of a contentious presidential election. But perhaps most importantly, you can't forget the fact that we often did school in our pajamas if our parents would let us virtually. Then in our junior year, the masks were gone, but you may still have to go home if you got sick. And in the end, we got to senior year and realized that perhaps in the end, senioritis was more contagious than COVID ever was. Sufficient to say, we didn't have an average high school experience. And that brings me to my point, which is, don't be average. Except on brushing your teeth. You should do that. Instead, strive to be the best at whatever it is that you do in life. This doesn't mean you'll always make a six-figure salary or have straight A's in college. But don't be average, be the best. If you're a firefighter, which is an honorable profession, you may not make $250,000, but be the best firefighter you can be. I doubt a hedge fund manager has ever saved a child from a collapsing building. But don't forget the toothpaste. If you're in school and you have a test online, as easy as it may be, don't Google the answers. Study hard beforehand and work hard in your courses, but in the end, take the C rather than lie. Then you'll have learned wisdom, which is more important than any test. And don't forget to put a little water on the toothbrush. And when you're in your 20s, realize that it's a much better life to get married and have children than being average. Average means vice and sloth with a youth characterized by freedom and instantaneous emotional impulses. Realize the alternative. Be the best spouse and parent you can be. Then remember to brush for at least 2 minutes. The average college student has his cell phone surgically attached to his hand. Don't be average. Put the phone away, look up at the world, talk and interact with others, and then occasionally pull the phone out and call your parents or grandparents when you're away from home. Then spit the toothpaste out. Average also means not acting like an adult while pretending that you have the wisdom of a 70-year-old. Instead, don't be average. Act like an adult, take responsibility, be selfless, and realize that while a 70-year-old may not know the ins and outs of Snapchat as well as you, he probably knows the ins and outs of life better than you. And don't forget to rinse your mouth out so that when you're 70, you'll have teeth. And with all this, don't try to not be average through your own way. In Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, the main character murders 2 people under the pretense that he's supposed to be great and glorious, and in the pursuit of that, he obviously violates the moral law. This is the average way to not be average. Don't be like that. Instead, embrace morality while ultimately recognizing your complete incapability to fully adhere to it, rather believing in the one who did fully obey the law for your sake and mine and suffered for our sins. That, as the Apostle John says, whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And with all this, don't forget to brush twice a day, so that when you're at your own child or grandchild's graduation, you can smile too. Thank you.